Hey guys, my name is Octoman and today I want to create a new spell with particles and some 3D object, or basically one 3D object, and this is going to be a force field. So if I press the force field button, then those particles will appear and I will create a sphere with some animated particles around and some force field effect, and then it go after 5 seconds away. Also, as you have seen, that dust is going to get created too. So let's see how we can do that. The very first thing is I don't care about the canvas and all the other things. We go over to that later on, so I just disable that. And also all the other things may not be needed at the moment. If you have a character which is using all that spells, make sure that if they are on the character itself, make sure that you start to create everything at first on a empty game object, and then only work with particles inside of that game object, because if you have any other thing getting added after that or outside of that, then the local space will change. So that's what we do, or what I do with that spell. Okay, so this spell is going to be a force field, or force shield actually, not a field. What I do is I rename that to force shield spell. So this will all the informations we are going to go over about and so on will be at the 000, so straight under the character. So make sure, if you're not sure where your character is or somewhere in the scene, make it the children of the cube or your character, then zero it out like this. Then you would have the middle point of that, but I want the ground, so I say 0.5 minus at the y-axis, and then drag this one out again, and then you will have the real coordinates where the character is currently standing around or whatever. So you can do that everywhere. So our force field, I drag this one a bit here. This is our ground. So inside of that force shield spell, I need, of course, several particle systems. So let's start with the first one. Particle system, and this is going to be the particle system for the left side. So let's say left up is the position we are going to do, or we are going to move. So since we want a trail, or I want a trail from the southern part and go up and do a more nice trail, and then thin out at the end and at the start, I need a speed of 0. So I have a fixed point. The next thing is I don't need any shape, so I just go over and disable it. And as you can see, the size is pretty big, so I might go over and say, I don't know, basically the size doesn't matter since we changed this in just a second. At first I leave this one into white. I don't change anything else except lifetime to 1 and duration to 1. Can also reduce lifetime to 0.8 later on, but for now I just keep it everywhere it is. So the next important thing is we need the simulation space to be world. So if we are moving around, we will have some kind of trail later on when we move around the particle system. Right now it does not look pretty good, so we need to emit some more, maybe like 50, and also we go not 50 at emission rate, and also we want to change the size of a lifetime. That means we start small at 000 and we end at 000, and in the middle point we just add a key and drag this one up. So if I right now drag this around, you can see I have an interesting trail. So I start small, end small, and in the middle it will be bigger or thicker. So get back to the point where we started. Maybe it's a bit too big in the middle, so we might reduce the size to 0.1. So we can test this out again. Looks pretty okayish. basically for that size. Everything depends on the size of your character. So my character here is just 1 meter high, and 1 meter, yeah, is like nothing. So yeah, feel free to test around with all that parameters. You have to change the possibility to do so. Okay, so what we do next is we need some animations for that trail, and since we cannot do everything like it is, we need another sub-object for that particle system, or basically not a sub of that, but we need to make the particle a children of another object, so we can easily later on copy and paste stuff around and just rotate it on the spot without fiddling around with the particle system itself. So we create another game object which is empty, and we make the particle system a children of that. So this is L holder, or L1 holder, or L up holder. It doesn't really matter how you call it, as long as you know what it is and what it does. So we don't do anything with that holder, we just take the position, we zero it out since we want this to be in the center of this force field again. We can also move this later on around, doesn't really matter. And then we can need to check if the particle system is still at 0, 0, 0, and that is what it is. So we go over and can right now animate the particle system's movement from down to up, and then do whatever we want. So you can later on also add some other glittering stuff. We just need to make sure that it is under that particle system. Like glitter, I mean, we can create a new particle system in here, and this will be just have a duration of 0.8. Also in here 0.8 of lifetime, and it will be a speed of 0, a size of 0.1, and also we don't need any shape, I would say, or basically let's use a sphere and reduce the size of the sphere to the center point of that. Maybe the speed needs to be a bit higher than 0. So we have some glittering. As you can see, now it is glittering on the spot, and we'll take everything with it. So if I just drag around it, it will keep glittering. And yeah, so you can place that particle system to the point where you ever need it. Somehow it's okay. There we go. I realized that the starting size is too small, so I better start big and get smaller later on, so it's more trailish. So we start big and get smaller over lifetime. Since the middle is still too big, I just go over and delete the key once again, and just have maybe something like that. That's pretty okay. Oh, I just need to do this once again, and I just go over and just place it where it has been. Okay, so right now we can just start and create our animation for that, particle system. If you don't want this to be in the center point, so more maybe like on the side over here as a start point, since from down there you might not see everything when you start the scene or start the spell, then you can just go and drag this one somewhere here. But don't use the particle system, use the holder for this, like so. Yeah, to update the size, the screen, and just go over there. Okay, that looks okay-ish. So what I do is I take the main particle system and animate this one right now. So I go to my animations folder, and I have a particles and force field in here already. What I don't need is all that things can just be deleted, because I don't have them anymore. Just was just for testing stuff. And now with my particle system selected, I go to Window, Animation, and I click on Create a New Animation. So I go to my Animations, Particles, Force Field, and then here I say, this is my up hemisphere, or I don't know, up animation. So keep everything organized so you won't have problems to find stuff later on. What I want to do, I want to have a spherical movement to the top of the character. So this will go up, then go down another spherical part, and then just hopefully looks good. So how can we do a spherical system or spherical stuff? Well, I go to my force shield spell game object and create another 3D object, which is a sphere, of course, and this sphere needs to be centered to that point, and of course going a bit up, so it might be at 0.5, and depending on how big your character is, you might want to check what is the right size. So and also how you want to see how should it look. So I don't want to or if you want to intersect that sphere into the ground, then you can just leave it where it is, like so. So if you later on have the force field on you, you will have that kind of hemispheric stuff in here, and the southern part is basically ignored. I believe I will work with that. So I press to wireframe mode so I can see through everything, and can also see where my particle would start. And since this is not really the point where I am or where the particle should start, I just go over and drag this out a bit more. So I take the left holder and drag this out somewhere there. Gonna update this pretty quick. There we go. So what will I do next is I will move up to that point over here with my particle system. So I go to the last keyframe. I want that animation only stay for 1 second. So in 1 second he has to be over there. So at first I go over and drag this at the right point. There we go. So now it has a movement, but not really spherical. So at the center point over here, I just go over and drag this out a bit. So maybe like this. And in here we might go and fix some points, and this one a bit out too. You can also use the curves. I'm going to show you this one in just a second. Yeah, that looks almost good. There's a small problem. So we can go to the curves and see what is actually happening. So if the curves are not really 100%, we can just go over and say free smooth, and we can always fiddle around with the curves, and this curve is representing the movement basically of the particle system. So as you can see at this point, everything is pretty good, and here we have a small intersection, so it's maybe better to add another key and drag this out a bit more, and of course filter clear this out a bit better so it's a bit smoother. Yeah, that looks almost good. So we have the first animation for that. So in 1 second our particle system is going to move from this point a spherical way to this point, and then we want this to delete. But this is what we go and do after or later on in the by script basically. So we can just leave this one alone. Now I can just take the L up holder and duplicate this one. And I can just rotate it in 180 degrees without affecting the particle systems. And also I can rename the holder, but I cannot rename the particle system. So make sure you do everything properly. You can also do all the animation stuff for the right side, but I'm lazy right now, so I just copy the stuff over. So I change the direction of that holder and also the position. Let's see if this is kind of okay-ish. There should be the place. So if I play these animations right now, you can see we are circling in the spherical way around the sphere, of course, or around our character. Let's hide that sphere for just a second to again test this out or check this out even in the game scene. And there you can see we have a smooth movement to that point over there. Later on we go and do some more fiddling around with timing and stuff. Okay, what we want, or what I want, is at that point over there. So when our particle system is on the uppermost spot, I want to start another particle system with another trail going backwards to the spot where that came from. Maybe with some other color, or just leave that color alone. It doesn't really matter. And the timing again will be by script later on. So we start at 0 timing. The problem is, the more biggest problem will be to find the right spot. So what we can do is, since I use the same stuff anyways, I just rename the holder to rup, and of course delete those numbers in here. So I know those two guys are, or those two empty game objects are holding the right and the left animation, which are going up. And what I do now is I duplicate those two guys, or those two game objects, and say this is going to be the down holder. And since everything is animated already, I can just place that holder wherever I want and rotate it however I want. This is going to be L down holder, so I need to make sure everything is well set up. And now we are going to, or I'm going to place those guys somewhere where they should be. So somewhere here maybe for the right down holder. And what I need to do is, at first I need to change the rotation. I believe it's the Z-axis or the X-axis, I don't know. Let's test this out by 180 degrees. Play this. There we go. But also some rotation may need to I may need to do. Yeah, the direction is right. This is a bit tricky. You can also create a new animation for this if you are too lazy to fiddle around with all that stuff. And a bit up would also be not that bad. So those seem to be my right, or the right coordinates somehow. Yeah, that would be great. Too bad I cannot save anything of that. I just take the position from here and take that position. And the rotation, yeah, I need to test out a bit more with that. Once again. Looks decent. Yep. So, okay, I believe I will to make my life easier, I will just duplicate the Ardon holder once again and rename it to left. Yep. And just change the rotation. I believe this is not good. And this is also not good. Maybe we say this is going to be 124. So I have some decent values, or some values I can use later on, and let's test this out again. Oh, okay, that's going to be up. Then I need this to be 180, I believe. Yep. So as you can see, there we go. We have some interesting effect. We have some glittering around. I can also go to shaded mode to see this better. So what we do next is we create a sphere which has animated UVs. So at first we need the sphere. Oh well, we have a sphere already, so we can basically just go over and use this. And this sphere needs a special a material, and we animate the UVs of the material. For this we can create our own texture. Maybe something like that. Oh no. So this is just going to be, let me show you this one pretty bigger. Just a stripe of color and maybe some, I don't know, dots inside. You can create this however you want. So take your, I don't know, Photoshop, GIMP, or any other program, and just create with a with a transparent background and with a blue stripe for my case, and then just go over and use this one. So just save it with background. You can also use GIMP for using this or for creating this. So next we go to our materials channel and we create a new material for this. So no, that's not what I wanted. No lens flare. I want again a material, and this material will have something special. I call this one force field. And now I go to my textures folder and drag in my little stripe in here into the albedo channel. What I go over is I change the render mode to transparent. Now you can see it has some kind of cool bubblish shading effect on our rim, which is kind of nice for this. You can also use fade, so you would only see the stripe, but I think transparent is kind of nice. Cutout would work too, but transparent is really a great material, so we don't have the white stuff in here. And what we do is, by script, we using this offset of that material and change the Y value from up to down. Yes, and then we repeat the step from up to down, and by a speed value we can set freely. So what I do is I take that material right now, so go again and choose my force field, I believe it's this, and place this on my sphere. So in the scene you can already see there is a bubble and there is some small amount of that material already on the top, but most of the time, or basically you wouldn't see that except you play the force field animation. Okay, the next part is on that sphere I also want some glittering, and also so we create another particle system on this. Create particle system. This will have a shape of a sphere like this, and we can go and take that handles outside and places around our current sphere. So, and we say emit from shell, so it will be emitted on the shell. And I'm going to reduce the size to maybe 1, the lifetime to maybe 0.8, and the duration to maybe 1. The speed is going to be 0.1 or 0.2, depends on how you like that effect to be. 0.1 already looks pretty nice, but I go to emission and emit some more, maybe 50. So we have a bit more of that glittering around. Max particles shouldn't be higher than 100, I believe. So, or basically not higher than 50. In all other particle systems, you can also, cap the particle system size and stuff. So make sure you work with everything as you have to do. Also, in the scene already, this looks pretty good, just because of the transparent material. But that's not everything. So let's go and change the material of the sphere. And also I want another thing on that sphere. Another particle system, and this is going to be our ground burst. Yeah, let me say it's ground burst. So if the spell is actually active, then I want to have some whoosh, some effect on the southern part of the force field, so that the spell got active, and then we have some nice push or anything. We can do everything. I just go over and use my clouds I already made in the ground crack material or ground crack tutorial. So this one is going to be I don't know what we emit. At first we don't emit anything. We just want a burst at the timing of 0 with maybe, I don't know, 50 particles. These particles only have a duration of 1 again, a lifetime of 1 again, and a speed of, I don't know. The shape is going to be a circle, and the circle is in the wrong direction, so I go and just change the rotation of the circle. So this should be the X. Yep. And then I place this a bit more down, maybe near the ground, or a bit more or less. And also I take one of the sides here and make it as big as the sphere is. So we burst from there. And then I go over and take my cloud material and place this in the renderer inside. Like so. So when the particle effect is going to happen, then I will once just get some clouds out. Maybe this is going to be a bit too fast, so I might go over and just do 3 maybe. Okay, so I can also fiddle around with all the other things, like color over lifetime means I can just make them transparent once the animation is done. So they will disappear on the screen, as you can see. And what else do we need? I don't know. Basically, we can say color, speed over lifetime. We can also say size over lifetime, so we can reduce the size to invisible too. Maybe from, or just like this. So yeah, fiddle around with what is matching your scene and what is going to be great for you. So yeah, this is going to happen once. So we don't loop this, so we deactivate looping for that, and also we can stop that particle effect for the moment. So and we rename this one to be clouds. And this is going to be glitter on the sphere. So we have the animations for all of that. So then basically all animations are done. The only thing is we go and create a new script for the sphere to make sure that we can animate the UVs. So I go to my scripts folder. I always have particles, and in here I already have a force field folder where I can just place my script in. So I call this one force field. This is animate or anim UV. You can call this animate UV or whatever. I have a script like that already. So let's open up MonoDevelop. So what do we need is, we need a scroll speed as a variable. So we say public float scroll speed, and we can already set this one to 0.5. Don't forget the F. Also, we need the U and the V coordinates. So this is going to be public. I think it is a float too. Let me just check this one. Oh no, it's a bool. This bool U and the bool V are going to be for enabling and disabling the script, or basically the function. So I just do it like so, and I can also set them already to false or true. I'm gonna set this one to true already, and the U is going to be false, maybe at the start of that. We can also change them later on in the inspector. So the next thing is I need a material. So since I want to change a material, I need to get a connection to a material. What the hell? Material, and call this just mat. And also we need the connection to the offset, or basically the calculated offset. So, and this is going to be a float, I believe. If not, I'm going to change it in just a second. Yep, everything fine. So in the start function, we go over and say mat equals, and now we will get the component of the material, which is inside of the renderer. And since Unity 5 has changed a bit on the coding, we just need to do it like this. The old version was renderer.material. I don't know, and in here we have to get the component renderer, and inside there will be the material, and then we can fiddle around with the material just by using it like so. In update, we just want to create the offset, or basically calculate the offset, and the offset is calculated by time.time times, and then we have the scroll speed, and then we want to cap the offset by using a modulo, which is that percent sign, and then we say 1. That means offset will never be higher than 1, and if it is 1, it will pop back and get back to 0. So we start at 0 or in the offset, and then when it will increase by time and by the scroll speed, and once it's 1, it will be just go back to 0. So we can rotate around through that material stuff, or basically through the offsets, and depending on what offset is activated, we say if U and V, that means if both are active, we just say we want our material get reorganized, or basically resetted by the, moved by the offset, or I just explained this. So we say mat dot, and then we have a main texture offset. So we go and take the main texture and the offset of that main texture and set this to a new to a new vector. In this case it's a vector 2, since it has just x and y coordinates, or basically, and we say offset comma offset. So if both are active, we go the diagonal, I don't know, the diameter, I don't know how it's called, we go from upper left to southern right, or bottom right. So else if only u is active, so just u, I really hate that. So we say mat dot, and again main texture offset, and we say this is going to be a new vector 2, and in this case 0 comma offset. Okay, and now we just copy all of that and paste this in here, and instead of u I enter v, and instead of 0 offset we have offset 0. Then we save that script and return to Unity, letting decompile and recompile and whatever it's all called, and now we can go to the sphere and place the animated UV script on it, and let's go and test this out. Oh, okay. So now as V is rotating, now let's go over and take the U. Now you can see in here or here in the scene, you can see the material is going from up to down, and yeah, is showing us that we have some force field or something is around our character. Not just the bubble, but something moving actually. All the other particle system will not be active when the force field is active, except you want this to be. So we have our animation for our sphere. We can also say, oh, it's too slow for me, I better want a bit faster animation of that UVs. Then you can just say, okay, do that, and there you go. So with that done, we can just go and use our script I used already for our spells, and we can create a button to activate that spell and also time all that animations, how they should appear and disappear. So let's just see where my spells. Here's my spell script directly on my player cube, so I just go over and open this one. Basically, you don't need to do much with that spell script. Or basically, I can just go inside of that and activate a spell, which I can just drag in and so on and so forth. And then everything else will get triggered. Or we can, if I cannot use activate spell in this case, because I'm not using any animator components and don't setting anything active, which you might want to go over and do so, I write a small coroutine for this, since I have some differences in here, and also a starter for this. So I say I create a public void, and I call this one activate force field. You can call this however you want, or just force field. So since I want to activate this one, I need to start a coroutine, which currently not exists. So I might get some errors here and there, but I don't care at the moment. So I create an IEnumerator, which is, the cool thing is I can just easily time stuff inside and can say when is what appearing and disappearing. I can also use the animations themselves and activate and deactivate all that stuff in the timeline from the event system, but in this part I just want to go over and show you how the IEnumerator works with timing and stuff. Also, I need another variable in here, which is just private, and it's just a bool which has to check if force is running already. So I call this one force active, and I set this one to false. Later on I will use this in the IEnumerator. The IEnumerator is create force field. Oh. Rename it however you want again. So, and here we just go through all our animation steps we have planned earlier. So at first we need some game objects which we need to drag in for that spell. You can also create other script and another script to use all of that stuff. But for this we need, it's public game objects. In this case I need 5. So what I need is, at first I need the left up game object for the left up particle system. Then I need the right up. Then I need the left down. I need the right down, which are all the particle systems we are using. And then I need the force, or the force sphere. Little typo. Doesn't really matter actually. So at first, once that IEnumerator is going to start, we want to check is force active already. Can't type today. So if force active, we don't want the IEnumerator to run. So we say yield break. That means stop at that point when the force field is already active. So the next thing is we want to set force field to active. So equals true. And in the very end, when all of that animations, or basically all that active and inactive setting is done, then we say force field or force active equals false. So once he has gone through all of that, whatever is going to happen right now, will deactivate that stuff. So, and now the easy part, or basically as easy as all the other things, we say left up the dot set active equals, oh no, it's not equals, it's in brackets, and we say true. And also the right up dot set active is going to be true. Then we want to wait at least the time the force needs to go up and down, or basically up, and everything is disappearing on the top. So maybe it's about 2 seconds. So say, or let's just say it's 2 seconds. We need to check this out anyways. So yield return new wait for seconds, and we say 2.5 f at 2.0 f. And now let's just go and save this and test this out if 2 seconds are enough. The next thing is I need a button for that. Takes 0 hour. Oh, okay. Of course, we need to take the name or the string name and start the coroutine the right way, like so. And now I go and activate my canvas just for a second again. There we go. And I go and take my strengthen up button and just duplicate that and drag this a bit over here. You can also use grid layouts and all the other things. And this is going to be my force field button. Rename everything properly, otherwise again you won't or might later on be confused in your own scene if you have a lot of stuff inside. So this is going to be my force field button, and in the text I say force field. I don't go into the cooldown thing because we will integrate the cooldown directly in the IEnumerator. For now, later on you can just do it as however you want. What else? Okay, so next is in the force field button I need to say player cube, so I am able to have access to the spell script. And in here we have somewhere, is it? There we go, activate force field, and I just want to call that method or that function when I click on the force field. While this one is not active, I want to have all that objects in the force field be inactive except the force field spell. So what will happen when I press that button? The IEnumerator should fire, but of course we need to set up everything in the player cube. So we drag the we need to drag all the game objects we need inside the right panels of the game object. So this is a sphere, this is left up, right up, right down, and left down. And also rename this again to don't have all that stuff there. So with that setup done, we should be able to fire the IEnumerator without any problems. And there we go. We start there and the particle system is going to fire. The only downside is we don't actually stop them because they will keep going up. So we go into the left up and we say looping is inactive. And the same for this particle system. Where's the glitter? Same with that, and all the others too. Always go over there and disable looping, otherwise it wouldn't work as we want it to have. So let's check this one once again. I press the force field button. We have still the animation inside, but we disabled everything after, or basically, we disabled that that game object after 2 seconds. Oh no, we didn't. We just we will disable that. So after that 2 seconds, we take left and right. And say in here we set them to false. So let's test this once again. Cast a spell, and after 2 seconds they are just done. That's pretty good. So what we want after that 2 seconds, or basically when they hit the upper part, we want them to, we want the right down and left down to come active. So I just copy them in here. I do the same stuff as I have done with that guys in here. So I could just copy that line and say left down is going to be active and right down is going to be active too. Then again we wait 2 seconds to be everything on the right spot. We can also do everything faster. We just need to fiddle around with the animation after that. And after that, again, we set them to false, which is down in this case, and in here too. And then we want the sphere to appear. The force sphere, copy, paste, dot set active to true, and from here on we can do several things to have another outcome. The easiest way, of course, is yield return new wait for seconds, and we can say our force field is going to hold 5 seconds from now on. and then it will just get disabled again. So we copy this in here and say instead of true we say false. Time to save and check out our new effect. So we press, it goes up, then the other part comes down, and then the force is going to be active. The timing is a bit odd, so I will do it a bit different. The disabling in here will still be 2 seconds, but the timing needs to be a bit different, I believe. So I don't wait 2 seconds before I activate up and down. So I will split this in 2 lines, or basically in 2 ways. So at first, after 1 second, since we are on the upper part already, I take those left and right and activate them after 1 second. After the other second is done, I will deactivate the left and right, and the same should be in here. So we have 1 second up, 1 second down, and after the second again, then it will be disabled, but the force field should be active already. So instead of 1 we say 1 in here too, but we deactivate those 1 second before. Also we can just go over, and I believe we can just delete this line, save and test again. So 1 up, 1 down, and bam. Set active to false from left down and right down. How many seconds do we have? 1, 2, 3. After 3 seconds of casting time, when those going inactive, I believe this force field needs to be in here to be a bit nicer. There we go. Up, down, bam. Oh, I forgot, as you have seen, it's hopping around, so we might get rid of the sphere's collider, or just say it's a trigger. So we can still go and trigger things, but the player is not going to move away. Bam. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so all the timing is done right now, and we are basically done with the tutorial about how to create a force field. Oh, and to see what is actually doing, or what is actually happening in here, the active force field. So I can again test this one out. Then we have the force field for 5 seconds active, and after that it should activate itself again. There we go. And then it is inactive, and we cannot activate this again. Also make sure, if you're working around with that and you are moving your character, as you can see, this is still on the same spot. Why ever? Oh yeah, because we need to use the force field and drag this onto the player cube. That was the last step. So we have the force field spell, like the healing circle and all the other things, directly on our character. So if we walk around, and no matter where we are, and activate that, you can also see the particles are still moving, so make sure that maybe your character cannot move when you cast that spell, so it won't look that strange. So yeah, this way is one of, I believe, 100 ways to create a force field. So, or force shield actually. So, I hope you enjoyed and learned something. If you do so, yeah, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And also, if you have any questions about all of that stuff, don't forget to write me a comment under the video. And yeah, sum this video up if it was in any way helpful for you and you learned something. So, see you in the next tutorial or anything else. Bye bye.